that most of you are using the Choir of One wrong. And for those of you who haven't used it yet, it is a special ammo void auto rifle that can also fire in a shotgun-like pattern while hip firing. This uses more ammo for a higher damaging explosive shot akin to a wyvern's attack. However, what makes this weapon feel really good is its ammo efficiency. There will be a nerf next season to the gun, and it will only have 200 rounds reserves as well as an additional 25 in the magazine. This is just a decrease of a single mag and something that won't affect the gun's overall performance. 99% of the people I've seen using this weapon are using it wrong, inefficiently wasting ammo by spamming the hipfire on anything that moves or just using a primary weapon. This weapon is so efficient with ad clear that you don't need to use one. Just make sure to use your abilities and armor mods to ensure you won't run out of ammo. Regarding the god roll for this weapon, you'll want to use destabilizing rounds refit for the catalyst. This is the best out of the 3 catalysts as it contributes directly to the ad clear potential of this weapon, as well as the ammo economy via final blows. This also allows us easy access to elementally debuffed enemies, which will come in handy later. You may think onslaught refit is a better option, but the weapon already deals massive damage to most enemies, and the hipfire mode will make quick work of any tougher enemies. For the barrel and magazine, use full bore and accurized rounds to increase the range of the gun, which makes picking off enemies at a distance all the easier. You don't need any stability or recoil direction for this gun, so maximize your handling with short action stock. Now, as per usual, here's the full loadout for the class simplified. You'll want to use Hunter's Prismatic subclass with Golden Gun, Acrobat's Dodge, Threaded Spike, and Duskfield Grenades. For the aspects, go with Stylish, Executioner, and Gunpowder Gamble. This allows us to use 5 fragments, which will be Facet of Honor, Hope, Courage, Awakening, and Blessing. For your equipment, use a rocket sidearm. These are really nice for double special loadouts. I would recommend one with lead from gold for a better ammo economy. I personally recommend the Call, not only as it is the only kinetic slot rocket sidearm, but it has both lead from gold and one for all, making it both a damage dealer and an ad clear. For your energy slot, use Choir 1 as this wouldn't be a Choir of 1 loadout without it. The same goes for this channel and you, so make sure to like the video and subscribe if you want to see more of this content. Then top off your heavy weapon with a good void DPS option. I like using Edge Transit with Envious Assassin and Bait and Switch. This synergizes with Choir 1 and also allows me to deal massive amounts of damage while not relying on teammates. Finally, throw on Gyrfalcon's Hauberk for your exotic armor. The exotic class item, Relativism, also has Spirit of Gyrfalcon in the second column. Combining this with Spirit of Inmost Light, Caliban, Galanor, or Renewal will make it a better exotic for this loadout. Here are the armor mods that you should use. I'm not going to list them all off as there are too many to say in a short amount of time, so make sure to pause to copy these down. With all that said, let's move on to the loadout explanation. Why are we using Prismatic, for instance? Void makes it as easy as a click of a button to go invisible, which is the main focus of this loadout. However, Prismatic makes going invisible even easier. With Prismatic's version, a stylish executioner, you can go invisible with nearly any ability and even some weapon traits. These include Incandescent, Volt Shot, Chill Clip, and Slice. This makes Prismatic equal to Void for invisibility, but what pushes it over the line is the effectiveness of its abilities. Golden Gun is something that gives Prismatic a massive leg up in terms of damage numbers. Acrobat's Dodge grants the user Radiant, a 25% damage buff to all your weapons. Threaded Spike is an underrated melee. It severs targets which decrease their damage by 30%, which is great for any boss or 10 out of 10 baddie. Since any target you hit is severed, then any target that is eliminated by the Threaded Spike will make you go invisible. This melee will take out groups of red bars at a time, and each target hit helps to regenerate itself. So that means you get invisibility, damage reduction, and fast regeneration all at the click of a button. Well, I suppose 2 buttons. The ability regeneration only occurs when you catch the Threaded Spike on its return, but that's incredibly easy to do. Just hold down your charged melee button on its return. Duskfield Grenades are mostly used to apply darkness debuff to any enemy, which becomes very useful for one of our fragments. So just chuck them at anybody bigger than average and you should be good to go. But don't forget about the little guys. It's free invisibility for you and free crowd control when thrown at a spawn door. Aspect wise, use Stylish Executioner and Gunpowder Gamble. These two work in tandem with our exotic armor and will increase our survivability and damage output. I've already talked enough about Stylish Executioner, but free invisibility on kills that are on elementally debuffed enemies for anyone who hasn't been listening. This translates directly into survivability and synergizes with Gyrfalcon's Hauberk, which we will get into later. Gunpowder Gamble acts as an easy way to squeeze out a bit more damage and add clear from this class. Ability kills will charge up the Gunpowder Gamble, which will replace your grenade. Throw it and wait for it to blow, or shoot it to prematurely detonate into a solar ignition. In total, this gives us 5 fragments to use. Facet of Honor gives us a sizable chunk of Transcendence on elemental pickup. Facet of Awakening will spawn in those elemental pickups on multi-kills with the specific elements. The most common you'll be facing are Void Breaches, which grant you 12.5% of your class ability, and Solar Fire Sprites, which grant you 12.5% of your grenade energy. You'll also see Tangles for damage, but these are typically spawned in by kills with Threaded Spike. Facet of Hope will grant you 60% increased class ability regeneration while you have an elemental buff. Facet of Courage will give a 10% damage buff to your Golden Gun or any other Arc, Solar, or Void abilities while the target is affected by a Darkness debuff. Facet of Blessing will start health regeneration on melee final blows. This is also applied to nearby allies as well while you're transcendent. Keep in mind your Threaded Spike is almost constantly charged, so you can easily start regenerating health at a moment's notice. Exotic armor wise, you'll want to use Gyrfalcon's Hauberk. When you exit your invisibility with this exotic, you are granted 10 seconds of volatile rounds. This will make any void weapon apply the volatile debuff on hit. Additionally, since this is an elemental debuff, you can go back into invisibility when defeating enemies that are volatile through Stylish Executioner. This exotic also has some benefits while invisible. These aren't the make or break of this exotic, but are nice buffs for yourself. While you're invisible, finishing an enemy grants a 35% damage buff to your weapons, and a Reserve Void Overshield to you and nearby allies. The Reserve Void Overshield grants 500% class ability recharge rate as well as a Void Overshield on class ability use. Now, earlier I did mention the exotic cloak or Relativism has Spirit of Gyrfalcon in the second column, which gives us the volatile rounds buff on exiting invisibility. This is in combination with the cloak's first column perks, can make it a better exotic than Gyrfalcon's Hauberk. However, the reason I don't suggest it over the latter is the random nature of exotic class items. This is not to say don't attempt to go for the exotic class item, but keep in mind that there are 4 perks in the first column that are desirable, and only 1 in the second column. These are out of the 8 perks in each column, translating to about 1 in 16 roles being desirable for this loadout. Spirit of Inmost Light will grant ability regeneration when using other abilities. Please ignore the actual HUD buff timer for this exotic perk. It is poorly stated and misleading. The way the actual perk works is using an ability will empower the other 2 with a regeneration rate buff. For example, using your class ability will grant individual empowered melee and empowered grenade buffs, while using your grenade will grant individual empowered melee and empowered class ability buffs. If you were to use both, these would result in 1 stack of empowered grenade, 2 stacks of empowered melee, and 1 stack of empowered class ability. 1 stack of empowered abilities grant 200% regeneration rate, while 2 stacks will grant 400% regeneration rate. Spirit of Renewal will grant stacks of Frost Armor while standing in your Duskfield Grenade, while reducing any enemy's damage while they are inside the field as well. As a reminder, Frost Armor grants 4.5% damage reduction per stack up to 5 stacks at 22.5%. Spirit of Caliban would be my personal pick, causing any powered melee kills to trigger an ignition. Keep in mind Threaded Spike can easily go through crowds and kill multiple enemies, leading to several ignitions. This deals a lot of damage to any nearby combatants and will finish off any enemies maimed by Threaded Spike. Finally, Spirit of Galanor is the simplest traits, simply giving super energy when hitting targets with your super up to 50%. Now, what many of you may have noticed is that I didn't mention Spirit of the Assassin. This is because it is a bait perk and you should not use it. If I catch any one of you using it, I will personally come to your house and shit your pants. It makes any charged melee final blow or finisher result in invisibility. Keep in mind you most likely have Stylish Executioner, which makes any elementally debuffed enemies turn you invisible. 4 of your 5 melee attacks already cause elemental debuffs, and Grapple's charge melee also inflicts an elemental debuff. This means Spirit of the Assassin only benefits you while using Combination Blow or finishers. Keep in mind, if you are using Combination Blow in this loadout, you are probably using it wrong. Click in the upper right corner for a video going over a proper Combination Blow loadout, or go down to the description for the same. Starting with your kinetic slot, use a rocket sidearm for their ammo economy. At the moment, the call is the only suitable candidate, so make sure to use it with lead from gold and one for all. Lead from gold grants the weapon ammo on heavy brick pickup as well as special ammo pickup. This is great for ammo economy and should always be used in double special loadouts. One for all increases this weapon's damage by 35% after hitting 3 targets. This nearly guarantees any enemy short lifespan while making any sufficiently hunky enemy an easier target. If you aren't using Choir of 1 for your energy slot, I don't know what you are doing. This is a Choir 1 loadout after all. Throw on destabilizing rounds refit for the best experience and don't spam the hip fire shot of this weapon. Every red bar you kill like this shortens my lifespan by 1 year, as it is total overkill and uses 5 times the ammunition. Instead, use the aim down sights fire mode for quick, easy, and ammo efficient kills. Then you'll have enough ammo to spread your payload and fire on any sufficiently thick target. Your heavy weapon should be a void DPS focused weapon. You'll have enough ammo to not use a machine gun in this loadout. I highly suggest Edge Transit. With Envious Assassin, you'll be able to fire most of your reserves in a single go, while Bait and Switch will guarantee a 30% damage buff. For your helmet armor mods, use a hands-on, void siphon, and a siphon matching your kinetic slot weapon. The siphon mods directly interact with Choir 1 and your kinetic slot weapon, giving you constant orbs of power no matter the weapon. While hands-on will give you 1% super energy on every charged melee final blow. The arms mod should be heavy-handed, impact induction, and focusing strike. These all grant benefits when using your charged melee ability, heavy-handed dropping an orb of power on kill with a 10-second cooldown, while hits will activate impact induction and focusing strike, granting 12% of your grenade and class ability respectively on a 7-second cooldown. For your chest, make sure to use a charged up along with Concussive Dampener and a Harmonic Resistance. With Golden Gun equipped, you will have a Solar Resistance, which tend to be part of some of the more annoying enemy attacks. The same goes for Concussive Dampener. Charged up provides a bit of a unique use case, simply acting to give us more time to activate finisher mods on our class armor, which is why we are skipping to the class armor instead of legs. Reaper, Time Dilation, and Special Finisher should be used. Reaper simply grants orbs of power on weapon kills after using your class ability, while the other two give us additional special ammo. Special Finisher uses 3 armor charges on finisher final blows and grants special ammo. Time Dilation grants an extra 5 seconds of time on our armor charges, bringing them to 15 seconds. Since we can hold up to 4 armor charges with charged up, we then have 30 seconds to get a finisher to get more special ammo after picking up a 4th orb of power. Finally, we have our leg armor, which should be triple void weapon surge. This is just to grant extra 22% damage to Choir of 1 and your void heavy. Use the rest of your armor energy to aim for as close as to 100 resilience as possible, while going for strength as a secondary stat. Resilience will let you tank more damage in PvE, while strength helps us use our melee more often. That concludes the actual loadout. But how do you play it? Start any fight with your melee or grenade. Both these will allow you to go invisible. From there, use Choir of 1 near exclusively, making sure to stick to its aim down sights fire to conserve the most ammo possible. This will grant you perpetual invisibility due to Gyrfalcon's Hauberk, while causing volatile explosions on every shot. This will leave many enemies finishable, meaning easy ammo generation with special finishers. If you're going through a bit of an ammo drought, don't worry. Just use your kinetic slot special to generate the orbs or ammo you need to replenish your supplies. If you run into a larger enemy, don't hesitate to spray Choir of 1's hipfire shots for a speedy kill. And if you run into an even bigger bad guy, just spam your abilities and heavy on top of your special for a hopefully quick kill. And that concludes the video. If you're still watching, please leave a like or comment below if you liked the video. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this in the future. And if you're content starved now, check the description where I left both my Destiny 2 loadout playlist and a general Destiny 2 playlist. With that said, have a good one and goodbye. Thanks for watching.